Hi, everyone. Good Monday evening to you. Welcome back to Weather for Weather Geeks as we kick off a new work week. Pretty nice afternoon out there today. The sun was shining. Wasn't exactly shorts weather for most, but hey, we'll take upper 30s to around 40 and sunshine anytime at this time of the year. Because climatologically speaking, we're now kind of at the bottom of the curve. Our averages are kind of bottoming out over the next 10 days or so. Our average high at this time of the year, 34, but we did 5 better than that today. Our average low is about 20, but we started this morning in the upper 20s. In fact, the low was just after midnight today at 12:34 a.m. is when it reached 20 degrees. All right, one of the big stories, of course, in this winter season, we're almost halfway through meteorological winter, the lack of snowfall. And actually, temperatures are a story aside from about a 4-day stretch right around Christmas. But seasonal snowfall to date, 16.2 inches. Behind average through today's date. Locally, similar number in Erie, similar in Cleveland, but Buffalo stands out. Of course, the lake effect has been just crazy up there. They have no snow on the ground in Buffalo, despite having 100 inches of snow this winter and 59 inches more than average through today's date. Did some digging through the record books today. I found 6 winters that had less snow than we have right now so far in the season through today's date. So we're in 7th place there. And then I looked at kind of the top 20, or bottom 20 if you want to put it that way, years with not much snowfall during the winter season up through today's date. And then I looked at what happened during the rest of the winter. Out of those 18, 19, 20 winters, the majority, not by a whole lot, but the majority did have a similar trend for the rest of the winter. The snow for the rest of the winter was also below the average. Some winters, about 6, 7, did have a big turnaround that featured above average snow during the back half of winter, and then a couple of winters, kind of like last year, had about average snowfall for the rest of the winter season. We had a pretty nice turnaround, nice being an interesting word to choose depending on your perspective. We had a turnaround for sure last winter after a pretty slow start through about right now, the second half of January and the first half of February, and we even had some decent snows in March, but we made up for a lot of lost ground last winter. During that kind of back half of the winter. All right, we're a few weeks removed from the solstice now, so we're gaining over a minute worth of daylight per day. It's becoming kind of sort of noticeable in the evening, sunset about 5:15, and we've gained about 12 minutes of daylight overall. Of course, the sunrises continue to get a little bit later, but they're kind of reaching their latest point right about now, and they'll start getting earlier soon. But total daylight, 9 hours, 25 minutes. Today we'll gain another 42 minutes worth of daylight between now and the start of February. So slowly but surely, we're emerging from the darkest days of late fall and winter. And again, we had a fair amount of sunshine out there this afternoon. A satellite picture from this evening shows clear sky still overhead. Clouds will finally roll back in later on. And the flavor of the day for our Tuesday will be clouds, kind of back to normal for January. Clouds, limited sun, but a pretty ho-hum, uneventful day. Middle and upper 20s in the morning, heading for about 40 in the afternoon. Pretty similar temperatures to what we had today. Some modeling would suggest there might be a sprinkle in a couple of spots on our Tuesday. I can't 100% rule that out, but the air down here near the ground is pretty dry, so I think most of us will not see any raindrops on Tuesday. I think we'll be dry Wednesday despite the presence of clouds, but Wednesday night into Thursday, shower chances increase. We'll be in the warm sector here on Thursday, so despite a pretty good chance for some showers on Thursday, brisk southerly wind will send temperatures well up into the 40s, probably even 50 or better on Thursday. But then this system will kind of rapidly strengthen and pull in a lot colder air by Friday. Now, when we last did Weather for Weather Geeks at the end of last week, we had a lot of questions as far as the nature of this storm. Would it be kind of an East Coast thing? Would it be a Great Lakes cutter? How strong would it be? We had a lot of questions, 4 days ago. Now we have a lot more answers in that this will not be some sort of big East Coast bomb cyclone or anything like that. In fact, this is going to cut up far enough to the west that I don't think this is going to be a big snow producer for us, but I do think there will be snow showers around throughout most of Friday, into Friday night, into Saturday. The question for us is, what kind of impacts will this have? Even though accumulations will be modest, I'm not going to be surprised if we do have some impacts on the roads, especially after dark Friday evening into the overnight, first thing Saturday morning, even though accumulations will probably be quite modest. It's way too early for numbers, but I would be surprised if we had more than a few inches out of this. There could be some impacts, especially as the temperature continues to fall and the sun sets Friday evening. But this little cool interlude is just that. It's an interlude, because temperatures will be right back way above average by the first half of next week. By this time next week, next Monday, we'll be talking about, temperatures well up into the 40s, probably even 50 or better, at least a couple of days next week. This trend this pattern will probably finally start to break down just beyond this 8 to 14 day outlook. So about 2 weeks from right now, during the last week of January, I would expect some colder air to finally start winning some battles. Now, how long does that colder pattern settle in for? That remains to be seen. We have some model disagreement about early February. Some models suggest we snap back to a mild pattern. Some models suggest the cold has some staying power. Today's only the 9th of January. We've got a lot of time to figure that out. But confidence is increasing that the last week of January will probably be a fair amount colder than the previous few weeks in January. Will it be similar to what we had at Christmas? No, it doesn't look like that. But it will be colder, no more probably 40s and 50s for a little while coming up in about 2 weeks. But the next 2 weeks, aside from a cold interval here and there like late this week, enjoy a long January thaw across the Mahoning and Shenango valleys. All right, that'll do it for me tonight. Thanks for watching. I'll see you right back here on Tuesday.